What are your thoughts? Do you think that we should maintain friendship? Any relationship requires that you have very important boundaries. And so it's not to say, my friends, oh, because they edify me or they just come and say, let's just go to our matrimonial bed, isn't it? Can I still be friends with my married friends? It's a big debate and it's a big question. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry. I really apologize. I've been AWOL. Well, I haven't just disappeared into thin air. We actually resumed. So it's been resumption weeks. Actually, it's third week. We just finished third week and I'm going into the fourth week of teaching. And it's sometimes really hectic, especially the fall term when there are new students coming in and you're trying to get back into the groove of things. But not to worry, I have not absconded from here. Never. I cannot leave you, my darling subscribers, alone. So I'm so excited and thank you so much for all your comments on my previous video asking whether love is enough. We're supposed to have the guests here today, but they decided to abscond. They ran away. Should I get them here next time? He was complaining that the seat was too hot. He didn't want to come and face you again. Well, I'm going to drag him. However he comes, no, I'm not going to drag him. I'm just going to invite him very nicely, right, to say some things. And I really liked your comments. Some people felt that love was enough, especially if it's grounded on the solid foundation of Jesus Christ. Others felt that, well, love itself as a thing, as an ingredient, needs other things to make it spicy and worth the while, especially in a marital relationship. And that's also a very brilliant perspective, especially when you consider that lots of things go hand in hand to make a beautiful, God-centered, Christ-led marriage. And those are very important things, especially that you need to work hard at it. Love itself requires nurturing. It requires that you do the work all the time. And so to keep telling the person that you love them, but you don't pick up your socks, they've told you they don't like where you've put it, it's actually going to be so frustrating. And we don't want to frustrate, the love from our spouses, in our relationships. And so there are lots of things that go in. Today I was thinking, should I do the part 2? I must bring Gbenga Adejare here to do the part 2, right? Yes, okay. So I will pass on your message. He cannot escape, no running away. But I want to talk about friendships, right? So when you get married or you're in a courtship, how do you deal with your friends? We all have besties, right? Like our favorite people in the world, our friends, they've been with us for so many years. And all of a sudden, many people find that as soon as they're married, they seem to cut off. So you find that some friends might just cut off as soon as their other friend is married. And it's usually that, can I still be friends with my married friends? It's a big debate and it's a big question. So in my case, I had friends who got married and were still my friends. I remember my friend Miss K, my best friend for a very long time. She got married in 2010 and we were friends actually from that time. In fact, what the case was that I became friends automatically with Miss K's husband, and that continued for the longest time. But I've also found that there's some friends that as soon as they get married, it's like, because I was single at the time, you can no longer be friends because you would not understand what what marriage is all about. I must say, I used to be very hurt by that, because I didn't think that by suddenly changing your status, it meant I could not understand. I might not have first-hand experience of what you're going through very sure and very clearly, but it didn't mean that I still could not be friends. And I'm so thankful for my inner circle, because when I got married, I didn't stop being friends with them. I think they knew that they couldn't even run anywhere. Some of them were trying to give me space. In fact, I was the one calling the very next day after my wedding to say, aren't you supposed to have checked up on your girl? What's going on here? But I guess that's me, right? So what are your thoughts? Do you think that we should maintain friendship after we get married? Again, it's a very big debate. I guess for men and women, it's a very interesting one. See, I'll give you an example. And on one side of the debate is that you really don't want to keep up. It's not to say that everything that happens in your home you go divulging and you go spreading. Maybe not that, but there have been cases where people would, friends would be with the bride, for instance. They'll be together, pray together, even during courtship. And as soon as this bride, goes to her husband's house and they start their marriage, it's sort of like, well, yeah, sorry, I no longer have time for that. Some would even be expecting babies, and will not tell their friends. I don't know how I feel about that, because I honestly think honesty is very important. And if it's not working for you anymore, it's best to say so that the other person does not keep hoping that they're still friends with you when you've clearly moved on. Again, there's a notion of who's your best friend, right? And that's a big debate and topic entirely. Should it be your partner or should it be someone else? As a Christian, you don't want to have someone, a confidant, outside of your home, right? You want to be sure that you and your partner, you're one in Christ. You enjoy that unity as the Lord himself has purposed for our homes to be. But your friends, do you just leave them in the lurch and they'll just figure it out eventually that they are no longer wanted? I think that might make it look like a use and dump relationship, don't you think? And that might be painful. Actually, not a bit, a lot painful. You still want to have your friends, of course. And this goes without saying. The mode of that friendship might change. Maybe you used to speak every day. You might not have time to get on the phone to speak with them, and that's okay. But I think it's also acknowledging that they're there and they've been there for you, and you don't just discard them. I have friends, in fact, that sometimes I don't get to speak with for months and months on end. Their moms as well. They're in their homes and their moms. And as soon as we get on the phone, we speak, for this time, and we catch up and say, oh, and we both understand where we're coming from, because we know life gets really busy. But we, again, go on and might not speak for another, 3 months, and you can just hit it off running that way. But how do you deal with those kinds of issues? Because these are very sensitive issues, right? And they border on emotions and feelings. And some people might be feeling very left out and betrayed and all of that. I have felt that way before, if I am honest. I have. Because I had an instance where someone I was very close to, we used to talk a lot. And all of a sudden they got married, and I would call, I would check in, and I was almost feeling like a nuisance. I don't know that anyone likes to feel like a nuisance, clearly, but I did, and it was very painful. I spoke up because I was big, and I said, look, I know you're married and you're busy. Just tell me if I am becoming burdensome. That's the last thing I want to be. And of course, we spoke about it. I realized that they could not cope with having me around the way I always was there before, and that's fine. But I think we need to be thinking about this, especially that we might be hurting some other people. Imagine that you tell your friends, they come around when you were planning your wedding, they paid for the ashrebi, the uniform clothing that people like to wear, they spent the traveled, the inconvenience themselves, did all of that. I'm not saying that because they did that, they then deserve your friendship. It's not that they've paid something and so you owe them. Absolutely not. But they have invested into you. So they do. They are quite right if they ask for some of your attention, if I am honest. And I understand and appreciate that as well, because I know it's not just easy. People have had access to you for all this time, and suddenly it's just complete cut off. I think our friends too realize that we might not have time for them as we used to have time for them when we were single and when we didn't have other responsibilities. But I don't know whether we should completely cut off. What does the Bible say about that? You know, a friend in need is a friend indeed. The Bible tells us there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Sometimes your family, your brother, your sister might not be available. It might just be your friends that are there for you, that provide you some of those clarity, again helping you to see things from a different perspective. I remember when I just got married, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have my friends, my inner circle, because I called, I kept disturbing them. I said, what are you guys talking about? You say get married and this is what is there? All that initial drama, not knowing what you're doing. I'm so thankful for my friends. Actually, they were the ones who I called and they told me, you have to be easy on yourself. Don't think too much about it. Your husband doesn't even mean any of those things, that because I used to be very analytical and think, oh, this is clearly what he means. He's actually trying to get at me because of ABC. And they're like, he doesn't even remember what you're talking about. So just move on. I mean, I am so thankful that I didn't have to walk that road alone, because if I did, if I explained that to my husband, he used to look at me as though I was speaking a different language, and I would be like, are you making it up or something? But speaking with my friends helped me to have that clarity. What if I had just cut off and said, well, bye, I am now married, shut the door, goodbye, face your life? I don't know that I would have enjoyed that. But again, other people have different experiences, right? And you want to make sure that you manage your relationship as best as you can, especially that you want to prioritize your relationship with your husband or your relationship with your wife, because that's the primary one that we are responsible for. That's the person you're responsible to. But how about your friends? Where do you put them? How have you dealt with yours? I would really, really love to know, because this is a topic that's very close to my heart. I think it also matters who your friends are, right? That proverb, that adage, long, time adage says, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. So who are your friends? Who are those you allow into your personal space? Because again, in saying that you shouldn't cut off your friends completely, what if you don't have great friends? What if they're friends who don't edify you, who every time they speak to you, it's always some kind of competition that you're not even sure about, or they're saying things that are very negative about your spouse? You don't want to be surrounded by those friends, because you want friends that can edify you, that can inspire you to serve the Lord, to do well, to make a success of your home, not friends that bring you down. I mean, haven't we seen some of those kinds of movies? Friends who would say, never, I can never take that kind of nonsense from any man. And the kind of nonsense that they take, you don't even want us to speak about those at all. So of course you don't want those kinds of friends, because they are going to really wreak havoc on the home. But when you have godly friends, friends that you can take your problems to and they can pray with you, they can encourage you, those kinds of friends, you want to keep them closer. I have lots of, a number of friends like that. I have them on speed dial. Dr. Mrs. in the UK, Dr. Mrs., what's going on? And I know after she has said everything, she's going to say, well, Motilola, the lesson is for you. I'm like, okay, Pastor Mrs. But I'm very thankful for that kind of friend. My friend, Dr. Mrs., way older than I am. She has lots of experience and she's brilliant. She always will go to the Bible. What does the Bible say about this? I know when I go to Dr. Mrs., I get solid advice. I have other friends as well, Miss T. I can just, hey sis, this is happening. And she'll be like, Moti, just calm down. Okay, what's going on? Let's back up a bit. Let's unpack this. And by the time I speak with her, I have some clarity. You want to be sure that your friends are godly friends. Those are very important if you want to keep them close. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. The Bible speaks about unequal yoking. You don't want to have friends that keep pulling you down. Friends at the bottom of the ladder of spiritually can easily pull one down. You want friends that edify, that lift you up, that every time you speak with them, you're inspired and motivated to do something amazing. I'm thankful for a friend like Ayobami Abraham, for instance. Amazing lady. She's always putting fire to my feet, saying, have you gone on your YouTube? Hey, have you done that? And sometimes when I see her calls, I'm like, oh, do I want to answer her call now? And all of that. But it's also very important in thinking of friendship that you set boundaries. It's very, any relationship requires that you have very important boundaries. And so it's not to say, my friends, because they edify me, or they just come and say, let's just go to our matrimonial bed, isn't it? I know you're laughing already. That would not be great, because you want boundaries. You still want to respect your husband, you want to respect your wife. It's not like you bring friends home and they stay till 12 midnight, for instance. It's my friend now. Don't you know this is my best buddy? No, there are boundaries. If they're going to their homes that night, they need to go home. They can't stay there and inconvenience your partner just because this is your bestie and then you keep laughing. No, I doubt that would be pleasant at all. We want to have very sensible boundaries to know that this is how far. This one is for my family. And in so doing, we will be able to represent what Jesus wants us to be. Loving people, kind people, but also people who appreciate the sanctity of marriage and understand how important it is to prioritize and know where you put each and every one. So my question for you, what did you do with your friends? If you're married, if you're in a marriage relationship, how did you deal with that? Especially your unmarried friends at the time that you were married. And if you're unmarried, if you're still a single person and you have married friends, how is that relationship going? Do you sometimes feel left out? I would love to read all about it in the comment section. So hit me up and let me know. Before I end, I had married friends, and when they're going for their movie nights, I used to tag along. I know, I have no shame. But it helped me anyway. I enjoyed those times whenever I was able to join them. I didn't join them all the time, right? So don't come for me. But I'm thankful for those opportunities. I learned a lot as a single person. So what are your thoughts? What do you think? And what boundaries should we draw in friendship, when we get married and when we're single people and friends to married people? Thank you so much for joining me today. Okay. I mustn't forget. If you're watching this and you have not subscribed to this channel, one question: why? You have to subscribe. It is still free. I know. Maybe we'll never have to pay for subscriptions on YouTube. I hope we wouldn't. But please subscribe now that it's still free. You never know. You never know. All right. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you're blessed by this video. Leave me a comment, like, share, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.